1 minute away, 6 minutes were out. It was 1 minute away from the end of the game. That could have seen the Navy potentially get to the gold medal match. Instead, Laverick Mola puts one in the back of the net. Then The Marine Corps equalized at 2. Then it didn't take one extra time period, but for the second straight match, the Marine Corps won in dramatic fashion. A goal by Omar Esquivel on a set piece. He was about 35 yards outside from goal. He found a way to score. I mean, they stormed the field again, and now it's crazy. If the Army wins this game against the Air Force, the Army goes 3-0. They're in. If the Air Force wins this game, there's more chaos, and then we have to go to tiebreakers, and we'll talk about that in a moment. This tournament has been nothing short of brilliant.
This has been an exciting time for all teams involved, and that last game was super fun to watch, and we can anticipate that this next game is going to be just as close.
I believe we have some highlights for you guys for Air Force over the last couple of days. These two have been battling pretty hard. 2-1 over the Marines. The Air Force wound up winning their first match of the tournament. They won it 2-1 over the Navy. Can you hear me now? No? Testing. One? I mean, we're not muted, right? They don't accidentally have us
Never
muted
mind,
on
he's
the
got an extra headset apparently.
Do you want us to just
here at Camp Pendleton. Second match, final match of pool play here between the Army and the Air Force. There's a lot at stake. Alex Gould alongside me, of course, is U.S. Air Force Captain Kristen Lynn and our second audio-visual squadron from Hill Air Force Base in Layton, Utah. The Army and the Air Force. One of the outcomes is very simple, Captain Lynn. The Marine Corps, the Marine Corps with their win. If the Army win, the Army are into the gold medal match. They would be 3-0. They would face the Marine Corps. On Tuesday, the Marine Corps would get to the gold medal match for the first time since 1999. They have not won since 1998. Marine Corps were down 2-0. It was a comeback for the ages, in case you missed it. 85th minute. It was 2-0 in favor of the Navy. The Navy was looking to maybe sneak into the gold medal match. Then Stephen Wisnat scored. Then Laverick Mola scored 90+5. 5 minutes into a 6-minute stoppage time. And then it was a goal by Omar Esquivel. A set piece he'll never forget for the rest of his life. Bent one into the back of the net. That gave the Marines an improbable come-from-behind victory for the second straight time in double overtime. They are now 2-1. So if the Army wins, they'll play the Marines in the gold medal match on Tuesday. If the Air Force wins, Captain Lynn, that's when we get to some more chaos. Okay? And I'll give some hypotheticals in a moment, but I'll tell you why. The goal differential right now for the Marines is +1. Okay, and they are done with pool play. They're 2-1, +1 on the goal differential. That's the first tiebreaker if 3 teams are tied. All right, and the way that 3 teams could be tied, if the Army loses, they'd be 2-1. Marines, of course, are already 2-1. The Air Force, if they win, they'd improve to 2-1. Let's say it's a 1-0 match. Let's give that hypothetical scenario in favor of the Air Force. Is John Ponce right here, trying to strike immediately. He's already struck 3 times past keepers in this tournament. Right foot cross, and that finds the keeper for the Air Force. But going back to what I was saying, so let's say it's a 1-0 win for the Air Force. All 3 teams would be 2-1. All 3 teams would have the same goal differential of +1. That would be the goal differential. Then the next tiebreaker is goals for. As it stands right now, the Army have 3 goals for. If the Air Force in a situation like that were to win 1-0, they would have 3 goals for, the number of goals scored. The Marines, though, with their 3-2 victory over the Navy, they would automatically be into the gold medal match because of their 5 goals for, which is the next tiebreaker after head-to-head and after goal differential. Then you get into a wild and wacky scenario where if this match wound up getting to, let's say, a 3-2 Air Force win, then the Air Force would, of course, go to 2-1. Army dropped to 2-1. Marines are already 2-1. The Air Force would have then 5 goals for. The Army would have 5 goals for. They'd have the same goal differential. And then I believe the next tiebreaker would be goals scored among the matches of the 3 tied teams. And our team and the statisticians here at Camp Pendleton would have to take a look at what that is. But it's simple for Army, Captain Lynn. I know it took 2.5 minutes to explain that. We were having some technical difficulties in the open, but I took 2.5 minutes to explain that because it's crucial. Right? It's simple if the Army wins. If they don't, then you have to know the tiebreaker scenarios of who gets in to that gold medal match and who misses out.
And the fate is really in the hands of the 2 teams here, as we have the Marine Corps closely watching from the sidelines to see what their fate is. So this is going to be a great game today here, Alex.
Absolutely. The Air Force, the defending champions, they won it at their home base at MacDill Air Force Base last year. They only allowed 1 goal last year. They've already doubled that here. Army looking to strike right away here in the 4th minute. Counters on here That's Mikey Nexu playing it back to Giuliano Daniel. So Giuliano Daniel doing. The Air Force were winners in their first match. 116 minutes it took to knock down the Navy on a goal scored by Isaac D'Souza. He was set up by Giuliano Daniel. The Army won their first 2-1 over the Marines. 2 goals by John Ponce. And the Army wound up winning 1-0 over the Navy last match. Yet again, another goal scored by John Ponce. He has scored all 3 goals for them. If you're looking at the Golden Boot, he's got it right now.
Yes, John Ponce has proven to be dangerous there for Army, as well as Austin Doing for Air Force. So those are going to be 2 key center forwards that we're going to have to watch for this game.
So taking a look at the lineups here. Didn't get to it in the open, but we'll look at Air Force since they have the ball right now real quick. Ben Locklear is back in between the pipes after Gavin Bryan started as the keeper for the Air Force last match. They have a 4-3-3 for the 3rd straight match. The left back is Julian Bouchard. The 2 center backs are Chris Brown as well as Jared Dove. And then the right back is Max Soul. Max Soul is not wearing number 20 today. He's wearing number 3. We don't know why of a jersey switch. Could have been all the sweat from the last match. How much he was running up and down the pitch. As you get a Daniel free kick here for the Air Force. Get back to the lineup in a moment. Chipped in. The Army will clear. The midfielders, the holding mid is James Sims. The center mid is Daniel, who we just talked about. And then the attacking mid is Lou Martinez. The left wing is AJ Villasenor. The striker and the center forward is Austin Doing, who you mentioned earlier. And then Mikey Nexu is the right wing, who rounds out the order for Lieutenant Colonel Kirschman, Jeremiah Kirschman, who's at the helm of this Air Force team. Then looking at the Army lineup. Luke Barbe is in goal for the Army for the 2nd straight match. James May was there the first. Joseph Carslow is the left back. The 2 center backs are Chad Quick as well as Donald Williams. The right back is Joseph Reese. He takes a lot of their set pieces. There's Lou Martinez here, trying to lead the attack on the Department of Air Force's attacking 3rd. Holding man is Ivan Oseguera for the Army. The 2 center mids, Victor Kosivi, as well as Matthew Solis. The left wing is Louis Robinson. The center forward, John Ponce, we talked about. He's got the Golden Boot right now. And then Devontae Blake, who set up Ponce in 2 of those 3 goals. He is the right wing. And the head coach for the Army is Josh Green, Major Josh Green, that is, who's stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany. He's enjoyed a 2-0 start. They've been dangerous so far, Captain Lynn, through the first 2 matches.
And although they have that 2-0 start, it's very rare here going into the 3rd game that they have to, it's do or die for them as well. So that's a crazy situation that we're in. So keep that in mind. Nobody is safe.
And that's why we talked about it last match between the Marines when they equalized. The Army were practicing. When the Navy were up 2-0, I mean, it's the 85th minute. They were practicing saying, all right, good. The Navy's going to win. We're automatically in the gold medal match. Still going to take this match seriously, of course, but give different guys chances, change the lineup around. Instead, all of a sudden, the Marines score not once, but twice to force extra time and then score again in extra time. 3 unanswered goals. And now the Army it's really a must-win situation unless they lose by 1 goal, right? So if they lose by 1 goal, they still could get in with all those tiebreaker scenarios we were talking about. But yeah, starting 2-0 does not mean in 2023 that you are getting to the gold medal match. Jared Dove was looking for Daniel, couldn't find him. Department of Air Force defending champs. They won it last year. The All-Army team did not make the gold medal match. They had to settle for the consolation match. It left them with a bad taste in their mouths. Average age was 22 last year. It's 26 this year. They gained more experience. And they've showcased that so far. They've looked poised and possessed while controlling possession and pace each match. Their last gold medal was in 2019, so that was 2 tournaments ago. There was a break in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID. '11th minute, 0-0 between these two. Department of Air Force, can they get back to the gold medal match for the 2nd straight year? Can the Army prevent them? Daniel, good ball out wide. AJ Villasenor tried to play it to his teammate and Julian Bouchard. And is booted away, and it'll be a throw in here on the near side.
And something we notice here for Air Force is that we have a new captain here wearing the armband, which is number 5, James Sims, who claims to have the best mustache on the team there, Alex.
Yeah, and I think his cousin, right, Austin Doing, would say that he may have the best mustache on the team, right? Villasenor, he is onside here. Villasenor, a little bit too much dribbling, and it's going to be a goal kick here for Luc Barbet. There are the referees here for this this final match of pool play. It's the guys making the decisions here today in a pivotal and crucial final match. Match number 6, nothing bigger here at the 2023 Men's Championship. Flag goes up. Speaking of the refs, offside on Doing. Chad Quick will take it here. He's a technical rescue engineer. That's his company. First lieutenant. He clears it. It's his first year on the All-Army team. Good ball by Jared Dove, but flag goes up yet again. A little bit too ahead of the play was AJ Villasenor.
And that's another offsides there for Air Force as they look to keep the ball. That's not helping in their case there.
Joseph Reese, he's taken a lot of their free kick set pieces. He is so good. Another one of those guys stationed in Wiesbaden, Germany. His unit is the 66th Brigade. Doing a lot of speed. Air Force looking for their first doing. Tried to play it to his right. Keeper's out. And a good decision by Barbe.
And that was strong defending there, really taking it shoulder to shoulder contact and keeping him from scoring that goal. That was good defense.
So Locklear, after Bryant got the start, he's back there. Just 2 keepers on each team in this tournament. Dove right now, he's been the one tasked, it seems, to man mark Ponce and make sure that he can't slip by. So Dove is really sticking on his left shoulder right now. Louis Robinson, so dangerous. His brilliant free kick set up the goal by Ponce last match in the 1-0 defeat of Navy. Doing finds Nexu. Bouchard via Senor. Bouchard with some space and nobody made a run.
And it looks like those forwards are pretty disappointed there with that service. They're looking for it at their feet because the over the top ball right now is just not working for them. An Army goalkeeper there, Barbe, is looking to waste time, making Air Force really chase the ball there. He knows that they went into overtime last game and that fatigue may be an issue for some of their players.
Chance here for Sol. Sol tried to get it to his left foot, could not. Booted down. Here's Ponce. What a ball there. Ponce working 1v3. John Ponce, he's already got 3 on the tournament. John Ponce, right foot try. Misses near post. Ponce couldn't quite get enough on it there, but that is how quickly the Army can strike if you're not ready. Talking about the Air Force defense. But I actually thought there, Kristen, it was a good job at least by the back line and Jared Dove to make Ponce run away from the goal and kind of run towards this near side of the pitch and cross his body. That's a tough shot to get off. Ponce gets called for the foul.
And it was really a 2-on-1 situation there, so I think Ponce should have waited for his backup to come. They had him pretty locked down, and it would have been a better chance giving that cross. And he just committed the foul there, which looked like he had a talking to by the referee, as it was a little bit dirtier than I think intended.
Just saw Chris Brown, who's played on the All Air Force soccer team, Department of Air Force, 2019, 2022, and now 2023. It's his 3rd year. He was on that championship winning team last season. He played his collegiate soccer, did Chris Brown, at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida. Also played in the United Premier Soccer League, the UPSL, for the Rangers FC in Utah. Louis Robinson here. Can he set up the first? All Army needs to do is win this match, and they are in. Trying to make it easy on themselves. That ball was curling and curving on a one-time there. Guess that'll go as a shot attempt, but an easy save for Locklear. So the Marines trying to get to the gold medal match for the first time since 1999. Last time they won was 1998. All they can do is watch now. They've done their job. They've done their job and then some, we should say, with their come-from-behind miraculous victory against the Navy. Well, 45 minutes or so ago. But I believe there is still a way that the Marines could not get in, and that's if the Air Force win and it's a high-scoring game. Right now, the Marines are just good with it being 0-0, with it being 0-0. They do not want to see this game get to a shootout, and I'm not talking about the shootout of PKs. They do not want to see this be a high-scoring affair between these two, because goals for could knock them out.
And it looks like Army is playing a little bit more conservative. They're starting their line of confrontation a little bit further back, letting Air Force back line really move it across the field and not biting too soon. And we see number 18 for Army, Robinson, really trying to calm the team down. He said, settle down, let's pass to feet. And that's something that they're going to look to do to control the game.
We've seen the difference that Robinson makes. He's a special player for the Army. He's so good at orchestrating the attack. He's a guy who can, of course, score it as well, but he set up the game winner against the Navy last time out. His free kick was brilliant. Stationed over at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He's an SPC in the Army. This is his first time on the All-Army team. Played for the Haitian national soccer team, U15, U17, U20. He was a Haitian to Pro League winner, so he knows what it takes to win. Monte Blake. Oh, what a back heel. Right. Just out of the reach of Carslow.
And you talked about outside back Joe Carslow for Army, and he actually recently returned from a deployment from Iraq in December of 2022. So he wants to shout out his wife Angela and their son JJ for always supporting him during these special opportunities.
Robinson battling. He's able to win the battle against Sims, middle of the pitch. Blake. Kosivi was open out wide, but the Air Force get a nice takeaway and deflection. Good dispossession. Lou Martinez. Austin Doing. To his cousin, James Sims. Next shoe plays it out wide. What a ball to Max Soul. Soul trying for goal and maybe thinking if he could get a deflection or if it caromed off the keeper and Barbe, that Doing was there to vacuum clean it home.
And that was a good little sequence there by Air Force with the quick passes, the 1-2 touch, and they're really doing a good job of possessing the ball.
Blake couldn't control it. Ponce on the far flank. Instead passes it to the center back and Chris Brown.
And Air Force is doing a really good job of possessing and controlling the game here. Army is almost waiting for that mistake to be made by their back line.
Much slower pace than what we've seen from the Air Force. I think in the first match against the Navy, their pace for the first 45 minutes, we talked about it, wasn't great. But then Jeremiah Kirschman and company made the adjustments necessary to wind up getting an equalizer and wind up getting that goal, the golden goal in the 116th minute to win that one. The pace was brilliant. One of the most exciting matches you'll see between them and the Marines last time out. Marines wound up winning it in the 113th minute, but the pace, it was back and forth, good action. Both teams controlling the pitch, the outsides, the middle. This one, a little bit of a slower start here through 27 minutes.
Yes, and you can almost expect the pace to be slower as Air Force went into 2 overtime matches back to back. And so they're really going to look to keep it smart, play to feet, and not chase the game as much as they have in the past.
Doing left foot, wide of the mark. So he takes a tumble. But yeah, excellent point by you. I mean, 116 minutes, 113 minutes. Played 229 plus minutes of soccer in 2 matches coming in to this final match. And you know that they do not want to see another extra time match. But in terms of tiebreaker scenarios too, a low scoring affair. A 1-goal game could favor the Army as well. Ponce, 5v5, but could not get it to Louis Robinson, who is frustrated with Ponce. Good ball here by Bouchard. Daniel trying to get there quick. It's going to be Daniel. Daniel, again, he's left foot dominant, plays it back. This is Nekshu dribbling through a couple of defenders. Instead of crossing it in, it's going to be Villasenor, deflection, and cleared away. Boy, Daniel, you can see, just does not favor that right foot. He would have had a perfect look, but he is very left foot heavy.
And that was good defense there by Chad Quick, by slowing the game down, allowing the rest of his back line to get behind him and really reinforce that defense there.
Bouchard trying to take it himself. Julian Bouchard. Next shoe might have one. Next shoe gets it to his left, trying to get it to his right. Doing back heel to next shoe. Cleared away by Karslow. Good movement there for the Department of Air Force. So Giuliano Daniel will take it here. He found Isaac D'Souza on a corner. Golden goal winner against the Navy. Can he find a teammate here? Instead, he's going to find the hands of Luke Barbet, the keeper. So these are the two winningest branches. The Air Force have won 15 times since the tournament started in 1981. The Army have won 13. So the Army, if they can win here in 2023, they would be just one behind the Air Force heading into 2024. The Air Force, of course, hoping to win and potentially win by a 2-goal margin, which would get the Air Force back to the championship. In fact, looking at the Air Force, Kristen, they have been to the championship match in 7 straight tournaments. They've been to the gold medal match. Winners in 2022. They lost to the Army in 2019 over at NS Everett in Washington. They beat the Navy at Fort Bragg in North Carolina in 2018. Beat the Navy in 2016 over at Fort Benning. Then lost to the Army in 2015 over at MCAS in Miramar, California. And they won it in 2012 and 2011. Camp Pendleton in 2012. They were winners here over a decade ago. And also won it at Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. The last time they have not appeared in the gold medal match, 2010. So we could see history by the Marines getting to the gold medal match for the first time since 1999. For lack of a better term, if Army gets there, it could see a changing of the guard.
I think that ball there by Austin Deering was intended for Lou, number 6 for Air Force. It just didn't make it through.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing, and I was going to say it if you didn't. Great call by you, partner. I mean, Lou Martinez might have had a breakaway, too. That's how good the ball was by doing, but Daniel in that spot just didn't recognize that Martinez was about 6 yards to his right with a chance to have a 1v1 between him and the keeper and Barbet. Foul was called on Bouchard, and he's not complaining. So foul called by Lorenzo Hernandez, the referee. So there's some good coaches connections between these 4 head coaches in this tournament we haven't gotten to yet. Jeremiah Kirschman was the head coach of Team USA in Wuhan, China for the World Military Games as John Ponce. He's got 3 goals. Thought about one there. Working on Dove as well as Brown. The two center backs. Right foot cross by Blake. Headed away nicely by Soul. Next, you tried to turn and go, could not. Louis Robinson took it away. Can Blake keep it alive? He can. Last touch by Bouchard. Get back to the coaches' connections in a moment. Joseph Reese. Reese could cross one in here. He's going to find the keeper and Ben Locklear.
And I know Ponte there in the middle of the field was pretty disappointed. It looked like he was actually pretty open on the 6 there and looking for that service a little bit deeper than the goalkeeper.
Going back to the coaches' connection, Jeremiah Kirschman was the head coach of Team USA in Wuhan, China for the World Military Games in 2019. Jay Renard, the head coach for Navy, was Lieutenant Colonel Kirschman's assistant in Wuhan, China, head assistant. Rocky Ferdine was the goalkeeper coach. Rocky Ferdine was the keeper the last time that the Marines beat the Air Force in 2010. We told that story in the first match earlier today. And of course, the Marines able to beat the Air Force for the first time in 13 years. Last match. But then Lieutenant Colonel Kirschman and Josh Green, the head coach for Army, were stationed together for a year at Scott Air Force Base. They were doing a lot of work together, and so they know each other very well. So coaches' connection in the military, all these guys, as much as they want to win, they are super competitive, ultra competitive. Saw Rocky Ferdine pick up a yellow card on the sideline last match. They really love each other. I mean, they care about each other so much and what everyone's doing in their respective services, and they just talk all the time about how fun this tournament is and to never let it die, to always have it grow and continue. Throw in here for Reese. 37th minute. Still 0-0. Kosivi. Blake let it go for Reese, but then it was cleared by Villaseñor.
And we have about 10 minutes left until the end of this half without stoppage time, as we should see the pace pick up a little bit as we get closer and closer here to half.
Renzo Hernandez having a laugh with Louis Robinson. I don't think I've ever seen a tournament where we've seen more goals scored right before halftime. I mean moments before halftime than this tournament. We've seen at least 4. We saw in the very first match when the Army faced the Marines, the first goal of the tournament was 45+1. John Ponce struck to get the scoring started here at Camp Pendleton. We saw John Ponce strike in the 45th minute last match against the Navy, and that was the difference. That wound up being the game winner. It was a 1-0 win for the Army to improve to 2-0. Austin Dewing scored a goal for the Air Force. 42nd minute, just before the half, to equalize against the Navy in their first match of the tournament. Of course, they were held scoreless last match against the Marines. Daniel, right foot cross, deflected. Sims trying to keep the attack alive. Kosivi, and eventually winds up with Nekshu and the Department of Air Force. Through ball. Bouchard gets bodied, and that's going to be a goal kick for Barbe. Villasenor doing back heel. Villasenor is another one of those guys. You can see dominant left foot. And the Army's done a great job scouting and understanding that Daniel and Villasenor, they want to get it to their left and force them to their right. Boy, Reese is good, huh?
He's doing a good job of just being that presence back there for Army, holding steady, calm, and that is a good defender right there.
Wasn't sure if Lorenzo Hernandez there was going to call the foul. If he didn't, John Ponce might have had a 1v1. Late whistle, but it was called. And it was the right call. Boy, they move Doing around, huh? Amazing how much you see. There's times I feel like I'm watching him play on the back line. I mean, he is an attacking mid that goes everywhere. Now, there's a big collision between Sol and Carslow. This will be a free kick for Army. 42nd minute upcoming.
And here's another look there at this foul. And a good battle between Carslow and Max Sol there for Air Force, but it results in the Army free kick.
That's something that Jeremiah Kirschman told us. He said, listen, even if there's a tough call that we disagree with the referee, he challenged him this year. He said, one challenge on the Zoom. He said, we're going to kill the referees with kindness. That's what he told us. Robinson couldn't get enough on it there. And a handball, I believe. Just outside the 18. Boy, that was really close.
And right in the center, too, here. This is going to be a dangerous spot for Army.
The Army have scored in back-to-back matches their first goal in the 45+1 in the first one, as I mentioned earlier, against the Marines. 45th minute, last match in a game winner against Navy. So they went up 1 minute from the first game. Now they're trying to go up a couple of minutes here. 43rd minute. I assume it's going to be Ponce, but it also could be Robinson here with the left foot. We'll see. Ben Locklear trying to line up the lads here. Those 5 on the wall for the Air Force. It's going to be Ponce and over everything. I thought maybe there, just maybe, he was going to touch one barely for Robinson and have Robinson strike from a little bit of a different angle and position than where the wall was set up.
And both of the two of them are very dangerous there on set pieces, so Air Force needs to be more cautious about committing those fouls and those handballs right outside the box.
Good touch by Dove. 2 men crashing on him. Sims sends it to his cousin and Doing. Doing, collision. This will be an Air Force corner. Great ball there. Great placement and touch on that service from Sims, who found his cousin and Doing, and they may have something doing here. The Air Force, 44th minute. Second time I've used that joke. Can't use it again.
And this is a big corner kick as we're only 2 minutes left until the halftime. And we talked about it before. Going up before half
Daniel
is crucial.
looking for the first. Sims on the backside near the back post. Robinson, good interception there.
And this could be dangerous here for Army. Good touch there by defender, because Army had 4 or 5 players with Robinson to the 3 for Air Force's back line. So that was a crucial tap away by the Air Force defense.
Yeah, it was. Crucial tackle there and get by A.J. Villasenor. Haven't been a whole lot of stoppages here, so I don't know. Maybe 2 minutes at it. Good move by Blake. Blake, right foot rocket into the back of the net. Are you kidding me? Army has done it again. In the 45th minute for the second straight match. We just talked about it. 45 plus 1, 45 last match. Devontae Blake, who has set up 2 of the 3 goals. The man out of Joint Base Fort Lewis in Washington puts one past the keeper and Locklear, who's not happy with the back line. 1-0 Army.
And he's not happy with that back line there with number 17, Julian Bouchard, going to the ground. I think he should have kept his feet there in order to better defend that goal, and just great opportunity there by Army.
It's amazing how many, I've never seen so many goals right before the break. It's at least 5 in this tournament that I can count, and 3 of them have been scored by Army.
It is a big momentum shift going into halftime with the lead, so that was what Army's looking for, and they're going to get it today.
Besides Army, nobody more happy than the Marines right now. The Marines know that if this score now stands, the Marines will play the Army in a rematch of the first match of this tournament. A match that saw Army win 2-1. So there was just 1 minute added on here. Can the Air Force equalize now? A moment later. This will likely be the last attempt here of this first half. It's going to be Doing, could be Daniel. Bouchard is a righty. He's a right footer. Daniel, of course, talked about the dominant left foot. They could play it short to Doing here if they want. 3-man wall. Bouchard with the right boot. A save by Barbe. So Bouchard puts one on frame. Barbe makes the save. That is the whistle. Halftime here at Camp Pendleton. One more half of pool play. What a strike by Devontae Blake, who had 2 assists coming into this match. This time, he was about 28, maybe 30 yards out. Kristen said, I'm going to do it all by myself. He slipped one past the keeper. And Ben Locklear, that is the difference. What a strike by Blake.
And we know for Army, this is almost like a home field advantage when they have the Marines and Camp Pendleton cheering them on, because they know that the Army win is crucial for them to move forward.
There is Jeremiah Kirschman. He does not want to see the streak come to an end. The Air Force has made the gold medal match every single time since 2011. Last time they missed was 2010. Right now, if this score stands, they would be out. It would be the Army versus the Marines. Halftime here at Camp Pendleton, 1-0 in favor of the Army. here at Camp Pendleton. Another gorgeous day for some soccer. 70 degrees here in Oceanside. 1-0 in favor of Army. If this score stands, take a look at the tail of the tape. If this score stands, Army would be through. Army, of course, right now, I know those records a little off there, but Army would be 3-0. So they're 2-0 right now. They would be 3-0. They would advance, and they would take on the Marines. Air Force, if they lose this, they would finish at 1-2. It would be the Army and the Marines, the first match we saw in this tournament. It would be a rematch for the gold medal, and the Marines have a lot of momentum. But who knows, Captain Lynn? One thing we do know is that the Air Force cannot draw, and I know when I say that draws are not a thing in this tournament, but the point is they cannot go to penalty kicks. That can't happen. If Air Force goes to penalty kicks here, it's Army versus the Marines in the gold medal match. So not only do the Air Force need one to equalize, of course, and extend this match as long as they can, they've got to at least win by a goal. And if they win 2-1, the Marines are through, and we have still just not gotten confirmation on whether or not the Air Force would be through or the Army would be through. We talked about all the different scenarios, but one of them that it could come down to is one of the final scenarios is goals scored in the matches between the tied teams. So you would take Navy out of it and just look at those goals scored between the three of the Army, the Marines, and the Air Force. And I think that's what it may come down to when it's all said and done, because their goal differential is going to be the same. Their goals for would be the same. This is if the Air Force wins 2-1. But we're just going to have to wait and see. As it stands right now, the Army would be 3-0, and they would be through, taking on the Marines. But what is something you're looking for here from the Air Force in this second half?
I know Air Force is going to look to put Army on the defense as soon as they can. They need that goal early to get the momentum up. And then Army is going to, on the flip side of the coin, Army is going to sit back a little bit. They're going to play a little bit more defensive to protect this lead and a little bit more safe and conservative.
Another thing, too, that you could possibly look at in this match the rest of the way is you see John Ponce. He is officially offside. Donald Williams, for example, he's got a yellow card. Not in this match, but in this tournament. So other stories we're following is someone like Donald Williams, Devontae Blake, who scored the goal. What a goal it was. What a blistering strike by Blake. He's got a yellow card as well in this tournament. And so you don't want them to pick up a second yellow because they would have to miss the gold medal match. Here's Dewing on the far flank. Dewing thought about crossing it with the left. Nice fake. Good deke. Keeps it with the right foot. Nice touch by Dewing. But Christian King, for example, why you're not seeing him, Kristen, in this match in front of us. He started, of course, the last two matches. Center mid, all everything for them. He picked up a second yellow last match, and so he has to sit this match. Right foot try there and a foul. So Sims took a shot, and he goes down. Now it'll be a free kick for the Air Force, trying to equalize.
And it looks like Sims is still limping after that one, but he's going to go in the box as they do this service. That's somebody that they're going to be looking for, as he has the height on a lot of the other players.
By the way, Isaac D'Souza subbed in at the half for the Air Force. He's the one who scored the game winner against the Navy in the 116th minute. We'll see. Is it going to be Nekshu or Daniel? Nekshu going to serve one in. Punched away by the keeper in Barbe, and now the counter is on. The Air Force have got to get back defensively. Louis Robinson was looking for Ponce. Great interception by Sol that potentially saved a 1v1.
And that could have been a pretty dangerous situation there for Air Force if Ponce gets the ball at his feet. Right there, it would have been a 1v1 opportunity, and that could have been something dangerous for Air Force.
Oh, great back heel by Robinson. My goodness, that was cheeky. Here's Carslow. Carslow, is he going to cross it with the left? He is, headed away by Brown. Soul plays it through the middle. Sims looking for Daniel. Good deflection by Blake. So the Air Force, who could not score for 113 plus minutes against the Marines, they had a bunch of chances. I mean, a plethora of opportunities last match against the Marines, just could not find the back of the net. Today, they haven't really had any.
Yes, not yet. They haven't had any, and they need to start looking again for their center forward and Isaac D'Souza, who has proven that he can score in those late matches, but they don't want to get to that point. They need to score early here for today's game.
Louis Robinson, look at that. He's just trying to buy time here to find Ponce. Ponce here on the near side. Last touch by D'Souza. Not sure if we're getting a jersey change or what's happening, but Quick is over there on the sideline. I don't know if the jersey got ripped or what, but right now Army's down a man. See if the Air Force takes advantage of this. So Quick not being allowed on right now, although he's pleading his case. The Air Force, they're up a man. And Quick finally allowed back on, so he's sprinting back to his center back position. Soul, and look at that, there's Quick. But here's Doing to Martinez. A right foot rocket and a save by Barbe. Boy, so Quick was pushed back into action. I believe there was a jersey change of some kind. Not sure exactly what happened, but he had to make the deflection and then defend Doing. Doing gave the back heel to Martinez. You take a look here.
And that was a great setup there by Doing. He had a little bit of a better angle, and so that layoff right there was crucial for Air Force.
And yeah, Quick is no longer wearing number 5. He is wearing number 22. So Quick, he's still in the game, but you're going to see him wearing number 22. Obviously, I'm assuming that the jersey got ripped, so he changed out jerseys. Don't see that a whole lot mid-match. Did you ever have to change out a jersey?
Only for blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah. Sims, the Doing. And right now, you talked about it earlier in the first match, but it just seems like Army's winning a lot of the 50-50 balls.
Yes, they seem to be controlling it, especially in the center of the field, but Air Force is doing a good job possessing it and building that attack forward.
Slide tackle there. Throw in here for the Air Force. Daniel to Doing. Doing pops one high in the air here. Soul. Carslow. See if Jared Dove serves one back in. Instead, plays it short to Nexu. Sims out wide to Soul. Soul's got a tough role as the right back. That outside back to try and A, defend Robinson, but then B, if he's here on the near side, kind of on the wing when he's being pushed up, to have to try and get the ball by Robinson is just not easy to do. good ball here by Sims, but nice job by Williams there. We've seen him a couple of times in this tournament come up with crucial plays. He's able to just get the head on there to prevent, looked like Martinez on the backside of Williams from potentially having a chance at a one-on-one with the keeper and Barbe. The quickness of Blake. Brown has to play it past the sideline. Sub getting ready to check in here for the Department of Air Force. So Bouchard is out. Brandon George is in. So that's an interesting first sub here by Jeremiah Kirschman, because although, of course, you're still need to prevent Army from scoring, you're going to need some attacking power at some point. That's why you got the Souza on at the half. Ball played in, dangerous. Lockler there was a little bit hesitant to come get the ball.
And Air Force is doing a good job moving the ball back and forth from sideline to sideline and really taking control and hoping for a breakthrough like this one.
Good ball by Dove. There's Sol, D'Souza. D'Souza trying to get to the left foot, but just could not get enough power on it. Saved by Barbe. It's one of the easier ones he'll have in this tournament. Good touch by Robinson. It's a 3-on-4 right now. Robinson with a lot of speed. Robinson left foot. Nowhere near target.
He really didn't have an angle there on the side of the field, and he should have used his other two that were moving down the field with him, and I think that would have been a better opportunity there for Army.
And that's one of those that you can talk about that's tricky for a back in that spot, where Robinson, of course, favors his left foot dominant. He's lethal with that left foot. So you have the option to push him out wide as far as he can so he doesn't have the angle like you talked about, or the option to, if you really wanted to make him play it towards the inside and play with his non-dominant right foot, you could do that as well. But that's risky if he's able to get back to his left in a better spot and a better angle. And I thought it was a nice job by the back line of the Air Force there to push him out wide. Sims with a service, really good one that finds Nexu. Nexu, good ball to Martinez. Martinez. Daniel played it off the body, didn't really need to do that. Instead gives it right back to Kosivi in the Army. Throw in here for the Air Force on the far side. All right, 60th minute. Alex Gould, U.S. Air Force Captain Kristen Lynn. 2nd Audio-Visual Squadron from Hill Air Force Base in Layton, Utah. Final match of pool play. If Army wins, if this score holds, Army will take on the Marines in a rematch of the first match of this tournament in the gold medal game on Tuesday. Air Force would miss the gold medal match for the first time since 2010.
And they opt to play quick here for this free kick, hoping to catch Army's defense off
Daniel
guard.
looking for D'Souza, and the flag goes up. D'Souza was offside. Yeah, you were right on top of that there, partner. I mean, they were trying to play it quick, and it almost worked to their advantage, but D'Souza just a little bit too far out ahead of the final defender for the Army. Sub checking in. It'll be Alexander Jake Tosta, goes by Jake. So Jake Tosta into the match. Checking out is Matthew Solis. Tosta's another one of those guys who picked up a yellow card last match, so he's got to be careful here in this spot. The Army does not want to see anybody missing against the Marines. So the Air Force trying to defend Ponce here. Ponce versus Sims. Ponce gets it to his left. Ponce trying to cross it in. Diving stop by Locklear. But the Air Force right now, Captain Lynn, they have not scored 175 minutes of action. They scored the golden goal in the 116th versus the Marines. They did not score, against the Navy. They did not score against the Marines in 113 minutes. And now getting into the 63rd minute.
I'd like to see a little bit more urgency here from Air Force. They're down by 1 goal, and they need that goal differential to move forward. So we need to see a little bit more urgency here by Air Force.
And give credit to the Army, right? They've controlled a lot of the possession of this game. And they took care of, really, there's only been about 1 or 2 opportunities in this match. And Blake kind of created something out of nothing. I mean, his shot that he took from about 30 yards out, that somehow slipped past the keeper and Locklear. That's the difference. That was in the 45th minute, right before half. Good ball by Ponce. Here's Robinson. Robinson, lethal left foot. Soul, he just doesn't get enough credit for what he does defensively. He's one of the best backs, if not the best back we have seen in this tournament. Talked about it earlier, but his job to try and shut down Robinson is difficult. He's made it look pretty easy so far.
And Air Force passing really well right now with the 1- and 2-touch passes, and they're keeping possession here in the middle.
Daniel. Good ball back. Daniel looking for D'Souza. D'Souza is onside. Flag stays down. Deflection by Quick. Doesn't matter what jersey Quick's wearing, 5 or 22. He's good just the same. Now Carslow boots it down the pitch. That thing may stay in. It will. Daniel was trying to curve that thing to Martinez. Couldn't get it to him. So it's not as simple as winner gets to the gold medal match. It's simple for Army. If they win, they do go to the gold medal match. After missing out last year, the Air Force, they're the defending champs. They've been to the gold medal match in 7 straight tournaments. But the Air Force, not only do they need to equalize, but they've got to win this thing outright at least 2-1. 3-1 gets them in no matter what. 2-1, again, we have not been told yet what the final tiebreaker is after goal differential goals for. Doing, I was looking for Daniel. Big boot by Locklear there, who played his collegiate soccer at Virginia Tech in the ACC. He's a keeper there for a season. He started 7 games there in 2015. Whistle there. Foul called. Amazing how many whistles we saw in that Marines versus Navy match. There's hardly been any whistles here in this one.
And we have a substitution, 2 substitutions here for Army. And out for Army is John Ponce, and in for Army is Chase Holden. And that's a big substitution there for Army, as well as out for Army is Victor Kosivi, and in for Army is Adam Laundrie.
So Holden in as a striker, so Ponce gets a rest. Interesting here. So they get Holden in their form. Adam Laundrie, we talked about, one of the best names you'll hear in this tournament. He's trying to give them a good look here. Comes in for some defensive help. Good move by Blake. Here is Holden, who just checked in. Holden trying to find Robinson, deflected. And now Army's got to get back. They kept 5 back there. Good defense on their attacking half. Boy, Blake's got so much skill. And that was last touch by Holden. Nice job by Chris Brown there. After the deflection, he deflected it right back off of Holden. The Air Force, you can just tell, they're such a technical team. So good with the ball at their feet. But they've not found a way to find the back of the net. How about Soul here? Soul, Robinson pokes it away. Last touch by Robinson. Boy, such a fun battle between those two.
And you can see the frustration there as Robinson thinks he deserved the foul. But like you said, they've been going at it all day. And
I like the fact that Lorenzo Hernandez has let him play. Dewing's trying to get to that right foot. He was thinking about maybe trying one there. A lot of dribbling, though, by Dewing. Brown, who had the interception, but deflected it past the touchline.
There's another look there at the battle between Robinson and Soul. It didn't look like too much there for the foul, but it's just a great battle back and forth between the two of them.
I know we're not there yet, and I know what you're going to tell me, but at what point here, if you're Army, are you content with a 1-0 victory and you're getting into the gold medal match, at what point are you just dropping more and more back defensively?
I don't think content is the right word there for Army. They're going to go for more, but you can see it with their substitutions, especially with John Ponzi coming out, that they're going to move toward a more defensive mindset here as they try to hold back Air Force.
Trying to hold back doing there. I think Quick was a little unsure of whether D'Souza was going to try and poke the ball free. That was last touched by Nexu. Okay, and then on the flip side, if you're put you in the coach's corner, if you are Jeremiah Kirschman and this Department of Air Force unit, when is it pushing more up? Is it now? Still have 20+ stoppage. See the fresh legs there of Holden, who couldn't quite get to the ball.
I know for Jeremiah Kirschman, they do not want to see this go into overtime. So now's the time for them to start pressing, but press smartly. He wants to see that urgency. Every time they lose the ball, he wants them to start hunting it down as soon as possible.
And also, you can't turn it over there. Opportunity here for Army. Blake's already got one. Back heel. Good deflection. I believe that was Martinez who got a deflection there. Next shoe on the far flank. He just lost it. That was Laundry who just checked in. He talked about the defense and more of a defensive-minded lineup potentially with Josh Green, Major Josh Green, the head coach for the Army. You see it right there with Laundry. Dove with a service. It's not easy to get it past quick.
And you can already see here that Army's trying to slow the game down. The longer that they can take to do things already here in the 72nd minute, the better it is for them.
The way this tournament's gone, nothing sure. Could be anywhere from an Army 1-0 victory to a 4-3 final. That is how unpredictable the final minutes and the final stages have been at the 2023 Armed Forces Men's Soccer Championship. I mean, the Marines were down and out, down 2-0 in the 85th minute. They scored not once, but twice. They scored once in the 85th, then once in 90+5, 1 minute away from the match being over. And then they scored in dramatic fashion yet again for a second consecutive match, right around the 110th minute as Chris Brown goes down, and nothing called there, and then they call it Air Force ball. I actually thought it was a foul, and then if you're not going to call the foul, I thought it was last touch by Brown, and it was. But I thought he got pushed beforehand.
And he's pretty frustrated there with that no call. And we have a substitution here for Air Force. In the game is entering Misael Gomez, and leaving for Air Force is Chris Brown, center back there that we just saw with that hit.
And that's an attacking mid for a center back. So I think you see right now the strategy in the 74th minute of Jeremiah Kirschman to say it's maybe time to have a more attacking formation and maybe only play three in the back here.
Yes, it looks like they're playing with three in the back. They're really going to utilize the speed and stamina of Sol there on the right back to really go up and down that field and play both sides of the half.
Not a great ball there by Reese. Daniel trying to switch sides of the pitch here to Nexu, and he gets it there. Great ball and great service by Daniel. That was not past the sideline, and got to be careful there, and that's a clear foul. Army can't believe it, but it did look like a hand on the back as Brandon George went down. That's a foul on Chase Holden.
And it looks like he's holding his shoulder there. And here's another look at this foul. Looks like Holden grabbed the arm there, which is where his shoulder pain might be coming from.
So the two trainers for the Air Force, Patrick Nichols, as well as Zachary Leibowitz. Well, they're looking at George, hoping that he's okay. Gives us some time to reset here. In case you're just joining us, maybe from an Easter Sunday feast. I know your family had a big Easter Sunday feast today. But what's at stake here? 76th minute. Alex Gould, U.S. Air Force Captain Kristen Lynn, and our wonderful crew. 2nd Audio Visual Squadron. Hill Air Force Base, Layton, Utah. If this score stands, it's Army versus the Marines. The Army get back to the gold medal match. You see Jeremiah Kirschman trying to coach his team to equalize, but they get back to the gold medal match for the first time since 2019. That was just 2 tournaments ago after the tournament was paused in 2020 and 2021. But the Marines, they would make the gold medal match here at home at Camp Pendleton for the first time since 1999. They last won in 1998. So the Marines would love for this to be the final. The Air Force could equalize, but cannot go to PKs. The Air Force, if they do equalize, it's great, but they have got to win 2-1. And we apologize, but we're still unsure of whether a 2-1 win for the Air Force would get them in over the Army or not. Because that runs down the line of tiebreak scenarios and situations in which we know that a 2-1 win for the Air Force would get the Marines in because of goals for. We're just not sure if that final tiebreaker after head-to-head goal differential, goals for, is goals scored amongst the teams. That's something that they met about this morning. And the committee met about this morning and didn't tell us. We're not special enough.
I don't think that they thought they would have to get down to that level of detail here for this tournament, as this seems to be a first, as an exciting time for everybody.
But it's good to know, right? Because it is good to have those tiebreaker scenarios in case something like this happens. Robinson, can he set up an insurance goal? Could be the dagger against the Air Force. Blake, who scored the first. Nice move there by Jake Tosta. And last touch by Tosta, goal kick for Lachlan. A Devontae Blake goal in the 45th minute. It's the 3rd straight match. In all 3 matches, the Army have scored their first goal 45 minutes at least in. Here's Lou Martinez. Martinez to Nexu. Nexu out wide to Sol. Sol trying to make a move. Sol still dribbling. Can Sol keep it alive? He cannot. A goal kick here for Barbane. He's going to waste a little bit of time. It's been 13 years in this tournament of just 4 teams. It's been 13 years since the Air Force has not played for the gold medal. Which speaks to 2 things. One, how dominant and how good the Air Force have been the last decade plus. As Holden trying to slip by goes down. Whistle not called by Hernandez, Lorenzo Hernandez. Play on. But also it showcases how good each team was in this tournament here in 2023 and is in this tournament here. Here's Robinson. He's going to try to get to his left if he can. Robinson might have one here. Robinson, it's deflected by Sims. And Sims is feeling it after that one. Yeah, that thing was ripped off the left leg of Sims. And now his cousin, Austin Doing here, working on Carslow. Doing good move. It might have been a nutmeg there of Carslow. It's going to be a throw in here for Daniel in the Air Force. 81st minute. Thrown by Daniel. Martinez trying to equalize. Nice deflection. On the outside of the boot that time was Ivan Oseguera.
It looks like they called an offsides there on Air Force, so it would be Army ball. And Army is relying heavily on sub Chase Holden as they kick the ball downfield, expecting him to chase it using his fresh legs as a substitution late in the second half.
I see what you did there. Martinez trying to find Doing. This back line for Army has been so tough to score on. They allowed one in the late stages of the opening match against the Marine Corps. It's like the 73rd or so minute. But that's been it in this tournament. They got the shutout against the Navy last match. 90 minutes of brilliant soccer, brilliant defense, and now 82nd minute. $172 minutes plus. It's about almost 200 minutes of soccer without allowing a goal. And that's something the Department of Air Force did so well last year. Only allowed one goal in the 4 matches. They outscored opponents 8-1. Soul dribbling away, and finally Blake slows him down. Soul thought there was a foul. So be an Army throw-in. Daniel, who's looking for next shoe. Carslow heads it away. Good touch over to Robinson. He's going to try and fly here if he can. But instead, great defense there from George. I'll ask you again here. 84th minute. Got to be close to an all-out attack here, correct?
Yes, I think they've been doing their best so far, and to do that, and here they go on the attack again.
This is Soul. Been talking about him just a little bit too far, and then a push, and that's probably going to result in a yellow card. That's a silly foul by Soul there, and definitely a frustration foul, and he knew it. Didn't even look at Lorenzo Hernandez. So Soul picks up his first yellow of the tournament. I'd say that's the right call, right?
Yes. In the back there by Soul, so I think that's the right call.
Holden with those fresh legs. He's giving them a good spark like you talked about. Foul called. Army cannot believe it. Five minutes till stoppage time. There hasn't been a lot of stoppages here in this second half. Soul getting called for another foul. Could be 8 to 9 minutes or so roughly away from knowing who's in the gold medal match. The Marines would love this final score. Of course, obviously, so would the Army. That's a big deflection there by Doing. Gomez couldn't quite get it. The wind is picked up here, by the way, right to left. You can see it just got past the right boot of Gomez. Robinson to the corner flag. He's looking for teammates, couldn't find any. These guys going to start giving everything they have in the final stages of this match. And boy, that was a big mistake. Could be the second one. What a save by Locklear. Are you kidding me? Oh, wow. I think Reese was stunned that it was a chance between him and the keeper and Locklear. Locklear keeps the game at 1-0.
That was a great save there by the goalkeeper, and not an area of the field that you want to be giving the ball away there by Air Force.
Next shoe, over to Doing. Doing has one of the 2 goals for Air Force in this tournament. Good deflection by Quick. How do you get the ball past that guy? Teams just haven't figured it out.
He must be too quick.
There you go. You got the chase pun, and then you got the quick pun. You're on fire today.
They're making it easy.
Good move by Soul here on the far flank. On the fringe of the 18, he goes down. Nothing called. Ooh, that was dangerous there by Donald Williams. Williams is one of those guys who has a yellow card. He picked up a yellow in the first match against the Marines. He cannot afford another yellow here in this match because it means he would be out and the Army would be without their center back in the gold medal match. I still am kind of unsure as to why that's the rule, where if you pick up a second yellow card in a tournament, you have to sit out, but that is the FIFA rule. And to be clear, I'm not talking about 2 yellows in one match. I'm talking about 2 yellows in a tournament. Just don't think you should have to sit out. That attempt nowhere close, and all that does right there, I know this is frustration for the Air Force. They're just not used to this and not used to having that attacking presence, but that just wastes time now here as you get to the 89th minute.
It wastes time, and it gives the ball back to Army, who they're looking to, delay the game and boot it downfield as far as they can to hopefully chase Holden there.
It almost feels like we're nearing here where Locklear's got to start coming out. I mean, this is their life on the line in terms of the gold medal match. If they do not equalize, the Air Force missed the gold medal match for the first time since 2010.
We did have a few injuries. We can expect more than a few minutes for stoppage time, but I don't think any more than 5 or 6.
Dove trying to serve one to the Army defensive third. Army have controlled a lot of the pace and tempo of this game. Next shoe plays it out wide to Soul. We saw some drama last match as the Marines scored their first about a couple minutes prior to this and then equalized the Navy 90+5. There's Gomez. He was trying to find Martinez. Instead, deflection over to Nexu. Nexu working on Blake. Nexu right foot cross Ricochet, one time by Gomez, ping-ponged around. That was last touch by Army. It'll be a corner for the Air Force here on the near side. And now you're going to see Locklear, the keeper, come as close to center circle as you'll see. See how much time is going to be added on while this corner is happening by Martinez. 3 minutes added on. Air Force looking to equalize. Can Daniel get there? He cannot. Martinez, who just took the corner, has it for the Air Force. So 3 minutes added, that's it. Army trying to hold on, make the gold medal match for the first time since 2019. Just 2 tournaments ago as Carslow goes down. He's going to take his time getting up. The 2 winningest branches. The Department of Air Force have won 15 times since 1981. The Army have won 13 since 81. After missing out last year, Josh Green talked about the experience and highlighted it and said, we are going to be dangerous. He said, we shored up some things defensively that we did not have last year. And you can see that here. It's made all the difference. As Dove gets there, keeper's out. Dove with a try, but nobody at all for the Air Force making a run.
That looked like a miscommunication there by the back line and the goalkeeper for Army. And like you said, Dove was alone in order to make that play.
I know you're down to your last lifeline here for the Air Force, but I'm shocked that when Dove had the ball over there, nobody for the Air Force is making a run to the back post. Everyone was kind of standing around. Here's Nexu. Still, there's so many guys on the back line for the Air Force. And a push happens there.
And we keep seeing that frustration show there for Air Force as they're committing those fouls and the pushes and those things like that. So we can tell that they're very frustrated.
Throw it in again. There's still 2 players back for the Air Force. I'm still stunned about that. At this point, it's all hands on deck. Off the head, Robinson pops one in the air. This is going to waste a lot of time. Feels like Locklear should do some dribbling here and keep working. Gomez on the ground. Back heel. Dove. Doing tried to play the through ball to Nexu. It's cleared away, and this could be the final chance for the Air Force.
And they're going to be looking for the long throw here. Get that ball in the box.
But nobody's in the box there. Captain Lynn and Gomez skies one in the air. This is dangerous. Keeper's out. Punched away. It's a throw-in right by the corner flag. We talked about the wind blowing right to left all of a sudden, about 10 miles an hour. And now Daniel. One last heave potentially. Daniel, he's trying to get the corner. Pops one in the air. Off the head. No, it's going to be caught by Barbe. And we'll see. Now it's all up to the referee here. And Lorenzo Hernandez, the man in red, on when he wants to blow the whistle. And that'll do it. The Army go undefeated in pool play. They make the gold medal match after missing in 2022. They have a chance to win their 14th, and guess what? Simultaneously, the Marines make the gold medal match, Captain Lynn, for the first time since 1999. They will have a chance to win gold for the first time since 1998.
And we can see the Marines here watching from the sidelines start to hug each other and high five. Army really pulled it out for them, and it was just a great game there by Army.
I mean, Army, stellar defense. They've only allowed 1 goal in this tournament, and it was to the Marines in that first match that occurred on Wednesday. So Rocky Ferdine gets the Marines in. Josh Green gets the Army in. The consolation match will be between the Air Force and the Navy. For the Air Force, heartbreak. They win it all last year in 2022 at MacDill Air Force Base. They were in 7 consecutive gold medal matches, and they missed the gold medal match, Captain Lynn, for the first time since 2010.
I know both teams, Navy and Air Force, made it to the finals last year, and both of them are playing in the consolation match, and so that just shows you how much a difference a year can make.
This tournament's fun, huh? It's so much fun to talk about. Amazed that we get the chance to talk about these branches and what they've done. But the Army and the Marines, in 1999, the last time the Marines were in, it was the Air Force defeating the Marines, hosted by the Navy in Norfolk, Virginia. And the last time the Marines won, they beat the Navy in 1998. I'm just trying to see here if the Army and the Marines have faced off. They did. So they faced off in 1981, the very first tournament. The Army, who hosted at Fort Gordon in Georgia, they beat the Marines in 1981. I'm trying to see if they've faced off any other times. It does not look like it. So this is a rematch from the very first tournament in 1981. The Army and the Marines will take on each other for the first time, whatever that is, 42 years since the opening tournament at Fort Gordon. Final thoughts, partner?
We're looking forward to that last game of gold, that last day of games, and we can't wait to see another exciting day.
So from our crew, 2nd Audio Visual Squadron, I'm Alex Gould. Alongside me, Captain Lynn, U.S. Air Force. Appreciate you joining us here for the final day of pool play. Gold medal match, consolation match on Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your Easter Sunday.